Welcome back everybody. So in the last video we took a look at if statements, and if statements check if a condition is met, and then if that condition is true we then run some code. But if we had more than one outcome we'd need a way to deal with that, and we can deal with that by using a else statement or a else if statement. So let's put that in a new folder. So duplicate the last video. In fact, I'm going to number these so they're in order. So number 1, and then this is going to be number 2, and this is else and else if. And then open it up in your text editor. And then change the name at the top. There we go. So this is going to be else statements. And else if. So just moving down between the script tags. So rather than delete this, we can actually just build on the last video to start with. So we're checking if a user is logged in. And if that user is logged in, we're setting a message to the user, but this provides no backup in case the user is not logged in. So this is where a else statement can be used. So just after the curly brace, we can then type else, and then provide a second set of curly braces, and this is for the condition if the user is not logged in. So we can just copy the document right, paste it in between the braces. And this time, if the user is not logged in, we're just going to set a message to that user just to log them in. So please log in to view page and save that. So we've still got the variable of logged in set to false. So now we should get the login message. So there we go. So please log in to view page. And this is used as a fallback in case the original statement is not true. And if-else statements are used quite regularly in programming languages, so that's a really useful concept to get used to. So that's a if-else statement, and you may be wondering what to do if there's a third option or a third condition to meet. And this is pretty straightforward. We can just build on what we've already got there. And in between the if statement and the else statement, we'll just simply use a else if, and we'll create a new example. So just delete all that, and I'm going to create a example just to show you how this is used, and this is based on a car's speed. So we're going to check a variable which is the speed limit. So for example, I'm going to set the speed limit to be 70. And then a second variable which is your speed, and also set this to 70 just to begin with. And as an example, we're going to print a message to the car's display. So create an if statement, and the if statement we want to check is if your speed, so put that variable inside there, is less than the speed limit. So paste that inside there. So if your speed that you're doing is less than the current speed limit, we can create a message with a document right, such as thank you for driving safely. And I'll just remove the sidebar to get a bit more space there. And then we can create a else if, and then the bracket, and then the curly braces. So if your speed is greater, so we can just copy this condition, paste that in the else if, and just change this to greater than. So if you're going over the speed limit, let's put another document right inside there, and this time say please slow down. And then we're just going to finish this with a else statement, as the backup. And you can put more than one else if statement in there if you want. It just needs to go straight after the last curly brace, but make sure an else statement is at the end. So as a fallback, if the speed is equal to the speed limit, and just put a simple message into there, such as careful, you are driving at the speed limit. And we don't need to put a set of brackets inside there with a condition just for this time, because there is only one other condition to meet. So we've covered if the speed is less than or greater than the speed limit. So the only other possible outcome we can get is if the speeds are equal. And this is covered by the else statement there. So let's take a look. So currently we've got the speed limit to be equal to your speed. So we should get the careful message at the very end there. So let's open this up. So great, so we get careful, you were driving at the speed limit. So let's change the variables. So we've put your speed to be 60. We should get thank you for driving safely. So refresh that. And there we go, so there's the thank you message. And the last one to check is if your speed is greater than the speed limit, we should get the please slow down message, which we do there, so that's great. So thank you for watching, and this is the end of the video on else statements and else if statements. And in the next video we're going to put these into practice with a little mini challenge.